Hey, I'm Rachel, and today I'm going to show you how to make your own bokashi substrate using items that you probably already have lying around your house. We're going to need rice, just any old dried white rice will do. You're going to want a glass jar, you're going to want some milk, and you're going to want some old newspaper. This whole process is going to take a little over a month. We're going to harvest our own lactobacillus bacteria from the rice, and then we're going to culture it and ferment it up, eventually transferring it to the newspaper that we can then use like a traditional bokashi grain in our bokashi composting method. So the first step is to make a rice water solution. You're going to want to start with 1 part rice to 2 parts water in a glass jar. You're going to put them together. I'm going to use 1 cup of rice and 2 cups of water. I'm going to put it in the jar, shake it vigorously, and then I'm going to strain out the rice so that I have a cloudy white solution. Then I'm going to cover the jar with a coffee filter and a rubber band, and I'm going to set that in my pantry where it's not going to get any sunlight and it's going to stay relatively stable temperature, kind of cool, for the next 5 to 8 days. At the end of those 5 to 8 days, the mixture should be a little sour smelling, kind of like fermentation smell. If you've ever smelled fermentation, then it'll smell a little bit like that. Hey, so it has been 7 days since I started my rice solution. You can see it's still cloudy. A lot of the particulate has settled to the bottom, which is normal. And when you smell it, it smells a little bit sour, not rancid, not bad, just a little bit sour. If you've ever had anything fermented like sauerkraut or a fermented hot sauce, you might pick up a little bit on that fermentation smell. But if not, you're mostly just looking for a very slightly sour smell, and that's what tells you that it's ready. If you've waited 7 or 8 days, it's probably ready. Alright, so today is a pretty easy step. Today we're just going to take 1 cup of our liquid and dilute it with 10 cups of milk in a larger container. Once you have mixed them together, the only other step today is going to be to cover it. And the only important thing to remember with that is not to seal it completely. I'm going to put a real lid on top, but it's important to make sure that gases can escape out from under the lid. So if you're using a screw top lid, make sure to screw it just a little bit. And if you're using a push-on lid like I am, be sure to push it on only halfway. Or if you're worried about that, you can simply cover it loosely with a piece of cardboard or something like that that's not going to seal it off completely. And again, it's still going to be able to let gases escape. And we're going to come back and check on this somewhere between 10 and 14 days. Alrighty, so it has been 2 weeks since I mixed the milk in, and as you can see, the milk fats have separated out pretty solidly at the top of this mixture, so the next thing we have to do is just pull that out. Alright, so I've got my separated serum here, and the next step is going to be to dilute this with water and add some sugar to feed the bacteria. In this step, we're going to actually transfer the bacteria onto our substrate, which is the newspaper. We're going to take 1 part of our serum with 1 part of our sugar solution, and then 6 parts water. Matters to me. we're just gonna let our newspaper ferment one more time for 10 days or 2 weeks, thereabouts. And at that point we will dry it and we will have ready bokashi substrate. If you have any leftover serum, which you probably will since this is a pretty big recipe, just go ahead and put it in a freezer safe container, label it, put it in the freezer, and then you can pull it out whenever you're ready for your next batch. Alright, so here we are 2 weeks later. We are ready to hang up our newspaper to dry, and then once it's dry it'll be ready to use just like any other bokashi substrate. At this point it's been fermenting for a while, so it kind of smells a little alcoholic. Alright, and so once your newspaper is dried, you'll want to store it in a cool, dry place away from sunlight. And whenever you're ready to use it in your bokashi bucket, you'll just layer it in instead of the sprinkling of the grain like I showed you in my video on how to make bokashi. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. And until I see you next time, I wish you all happy gardening.